Hello, and welcome to this month's Safety Minute. It's shutdown and turnaround season, which is the time of year when the oil and gas industry or chemical plants or like industries, when they shut down part of their operations to do much needed maintenance and upgrades. But what that means that during this time, companies, they also are losing a lot of money. Because when they shut down part of their process, they're no longer producing, which means they're no longer selling goods to people. And at the same time, this maintenance and these upgrades, they cost them a lot of money as they bring in people, materials, supplies, equipment, and everything it takes to be able to complete this shutdown or the turnaround. And due to all this, there is tight timelines on these organizations because they want to get back up and running as fast as possible so they can start producing, so they can start making money again, so that everybody can get paid and they can have a safe and a successful season. But with that, then, with all these extra pressures and timelines, I have been able to find that there's really four ways and where there's added risk into our lives as we try and complete these shutdowns and these turnarounds. The first way is quite obvious, and that is during a shutdown or turnaround, you're inviting all these new people into your workplace. And sometimes your working population can double, if not triple, which means you have tons of people interacting with each other and equipment and machinery. And it is very important that we collaborate. We have open communication. And on top of that, we follow all the posted signs. We do the speed limits. We stay in the marked lines where we know the risk is the least amount as we move from unit to unit. And by having open communication and following the rules, it helps to mitigate all that interaction of everybody else moving around on that site as they try and work together to that safe and successful outcome. The second added risk is more for the employees of the site, and that is where they are now deviating from their regular activities. And as they do that, sometimes they're doing tasks they've never done, they rarely done, or they only do once a year during a shutdown or a turnaround. And they don't have the same knowledge or experience on doing those tasks. And to be able to mitigate this risk, this is where it's very important that we start out our job properly. We fill out our pre-task assessments so we mitigate all the energies prior to we starting the job. We make sure we wear all our PPE. We have open communication with everybody in that area so that we can all have that outcome of getting home every single day. The third risk that comes along with a shutdown or a turnaround is just those tight timelines. In fact, the entire shutdown can sometimes feel like it is a rush job. And a rush job, it plays on how we see our task. In fact, I created a whole YouTube video on the rush job because of what it does to our mentality as we're working. And the best thing you can do on being able to understand to mitigate the risk of a rush job is to understand that a rush job always gets done. When I was injured, I had a rush job. And I found out the rush job was so meaningless that they were actually able to rebuild the house I was in and sell it faster than I could get out of the hospital. The interesting thing that I found out though was that not only does the rush job always get done, it doesn't matter how much risk you take on. If something bad happens, that rush job still gets done. It just will be completed by somebody else. It's not worth taking on added risk due to time. Time will always push us, and we need to be able to put time into its proper place. And that is that I am going to take the time to do my job safely. Not I'm going to be pushed by time to do my job at all costs. And the last added risk that comes along with a turnaround or a shutdown that plays on our behaviors is just all the pressure we feel to get it done. Quite often we'll have supervisors, foremen, managers come up and say, when are you going to get this done? And what they're meaning by that is they're saying, what can I do to help you to be able to achieve your goal? You see, the foreman, the supervisor, the manager, they have all these moving pieces that are going on. And they're trying to make them all work together. And they understand that some are going to be done early, some are going to be done on time, some are going to be done late. And they're trying to work all those moving pieces together to ensure that they keep meeting the timelines, whether they're done early, on time, or late. Because there's things that they can do to help you to be able to meet your timeline if you're running a little bit behind. There's things that they can do after you to help catch up things. But they want to know what it is they can do to help, where it is you are on that critical timeline, so that they can do all those little moving of pieces that they need to move to be able to ensure that they do their best on meeting that deadline of when the shutdown is over. So there are a lot of added risks that comes with a shutdown and a turnaround, from the amount of people that are on site, from deviating from our regular activities and taking on risks that we're not used to, from dealing with tight timelines and added pressure. But when we do feel these things, I want to challenge you. You see, I have heard so many top management say, there's not a job so important it cannot be done safely. When you feel like you don't have what it takes to be able to do that job safely during a shutdown or a turnaround, challenge that. And I guarantee you will find out that there is truly not a job so important it cannot be done safely. Because the worst thing that can happen during a shutdown or a turnaround is for a severe incident or a fatality to happen. Because when those happen, those can shut down the shutdown. And that will blow away all those timelines. And that's the last thing anybody wants. That's the last thing the company wants. That's the last thing you want. That's the last thing your family wants. They want to make sure, all those people want to make sure, including yourself, that you make it home safe and healthy every day. I hope you enjoyed this Safety Minute. If you want more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to bring me out to your workplace, go to spencerspeaks.ca. Until the next Safety Minute, stay safe.